This magazine, I think, was one of Mauser's first type of magazines, and it's a little strange. Now, some of these will have this extra screw and wedge on here, up in here, and what that does is it turns like a big collar into a notch on the front here. So this is like locked in, so I take a screwdriver, and it's not straight either, at an angle, and I rotate that. I don't think you can see it well. I rotate, you see where it's got that big collar, and it goes into this notch up into here. If you have one on a rifle, you'll see what I mean. And this just kind of is screwed into a spot here, and all it does, I believe, is lock that. It's like a lock of some sort. Okay, then here's another screw here. You turn this screw to where you can see it. Okay, and then we're gonna I'm not quite sure what this come on, stop shaking. Turn this out and remove it. And then when that comes out, this spring will come out, and there's another, the floor plate spring in there. Should come out. I can't get it quite out like that, but now there's a little button inside the trigger guard here. You can see it, my finger is. You need a small punch and go in there and depress this. And then when you do that, it unlocks it, and this whole metal thing will come right out of your trigger guard. That little button there, in there, is this wedge, spring-loaded wedge that locks the back of the magazine in. And now I got all the little parts out, pieces. You can see where that locks in to here. And now you can see that notch right there. There's a notch. And that's with this screw that rotates around. The big collar on there rotates and locks that notch. Don't ask me how all this works or what it's all about. Now, I had some trouble with, when I shot this, I couldn't strip the last round out of the magazine. So I guess these are all little flat springs, and I'm going to clean this stuff up. And it may be a weak spring, you know, I don't have enough spring pressure to force the cartridge up to where the bolt catches it. This is all machined metal, so that's about it. Next would be to reassemble it all. Okay, now that we cleaned all the grime and gunk out, we're going to reassemble this magazine. If you pick it up, you'll see that there's a piece with this like eyelet plate. It goes up into there. The way this is, that's the front of the magazine going that way. This we'll call the right side, and this is the opposite, the left side, and there's a hole here. Okay, what you're going to have to do, as you can see, there's a recess in here, and this piece, this follower floor plate, has to kind of go back up in there, and then this piece has to be down in here, and this little plate covers it up. The screw, which has like it has a tab on it, it's not threaded all the way. The screw is going to go through this side here, from the opposite side, and then that part that's not threaded is going to help line up the floor plate in here. So let's get it going. So it goes in like this. Let's try to make sure I show it. Goes up in here like this. And it may take some coaxing. You have to get that up in there. Got our little punch. Kind of help get it up to where it drops in here. You see, that's our piece in the recess. Take our screw, put it through the back side, and we start turning it until we see it start protruding and it's got the part locked in place. Okay, now if this part's locked in place, you can push this up in the bottom, and that'll put all the spring pressure in. Then just while you're holding this together, screw the screw in from the back side. Until it comes out like flush here, and the magazine is now back together. Now you know we got our little notch there, so then we take our trigger guard, slide the magazine back up in like this, and it kind of locks a little. It's not quite locked. You can see that this little pin is not sticking out. So what I do is I go and rotate our tab back up in here. I rotate our tab back until it locks the front of that mag. It's kind of, that's locked in there. Now the pin still is not protruding, so that means this didn't lock up. So what I do is once I have that locked, I take a soft face mallet, holding a trigger guard, just give it a little tap. And now you can see your pin's protruding a little bit and the magazine is firmly locked in place. Just a little tap down here at the base. That's it. Okay, that's about the most difficult part of the reassembly, but we'll keep going through it and show you how to get that handguard and stuff on. Now with the handguard, see we got these little delicate wires, copper wires. I'm not quite sure how this goes, but what we're going to try to do is with the wider part towards the rear sight, I'm going to put this and butt it up against the rear sight on this and try to tie it up. So we'll lay that down. We got the wires bent out, so we got room. And I'm just going to try to gently get this positioned. And push this up against the rear sight. Okay. Now I have it like that. Now I'm going to look at it and see if I can get these wires to lock together. Well, what I've done is try to put a little twist in them. It isn't quite right. You know, this stuff's old. So we're going to try to get it in here. And then line them wires up with them grooves in the stock like that. The wires we line up with the grooves in the stock, and it seems to hold that in there fairly well. So we got the action in. I'm going to rotate it over and then slide it down. And this is a tricky one. And then we're going to get our action screwed together.